evening, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Prospects After Dark. I am your host for Birds on the Black and Prospects After Dark. I am Kyle Reese. It is draft night, Prospects After Dark. We just watched the Milwaukee Brewers take Boston College outfielder Sal Frelick, which is a big relief to me because I'm not the biggest Sal Frelick guy. He's a really great player. It's a really good move. What we know now as Austin Stone and A. Chumbler and Matheny Sucks and Drew Marizio and Eric B. and Cardinals fans and not Barilli say, hello, everyone. Welcome to Prospects After Dark. We are fast approaching the Cardinal selection. I am frantically refreshing Twitter. I am in my notifications. I'm in my DM. I don't know what's going to happen here. You know, when I look at what's available, of course, the guy that I am most excited about is Khalil Watson. That would be an amazing thing if he falls to the Cardinals. But as a friend of mine just pointed out, and I'm not going to say who it was because they're in my DMs, the Reds have a huge bonus pool. And there's almost no way that he gets past them. But yeah, like to all of these people, I figured out last time I can do this. Austin said he was first. A. Chumbler says, let's go, A. Chumbler. Matheny Sucks says, feed me Khalil Watson. That'd be amazing. Drew Marizio says, woo, not really. Hello, Kyle Reese. Hello, not really. Eric B., sexy you, baby, sexy you. Cardinals fans, hello. Holy shit, oh my God. I agree. Ryan Olson, I think that Cardinal Nation would be really excited if Khalil Watson was still available in 2 picks, but that's going to need to go through the Florida Marlins, the Miami Marlins, and the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds seem like the team that would really fit in here. We'll have to wait and see. Holden, how are you? Matheny Sucks says Watson has the best amateur swing in the draft. Look, this is a really good draft, and the thing that I'm most excited about is the fact that, like, when I look at still available for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2 picks, even if a couple of these guys fall off, which they will because there's 2 picks ahead of them, there are still a lot of really talented players. I love the position that the St. Louis Cardinals are in. Whether you're talking about who I can cross off my list here, Ty Madden, who's still available. Like honestly, if it's not Watson, I would love Ty Madden. And I guess the worst case scenario for me here is if Ty Madden gets drafted and Watson gets drafted. But for me, like those are the 2 guys at the top of my particular board here. Now, there's always the chance that the Cardinals could. Hello, Holden. There's always a chance that the Cardinals could go in a different direction. It seems like some of these aggressive picks are happening because teams are trying to job their pool so that they can provide more money to picks later on. That could very well happen. Sam Lisby says, I'll sell my soul to Satan himself for Khalil Watson. Me too, as if I had a soul in the first place. He can have whoever has mine. Brian J. Khalil Watson going to Miami, it seems. Again, I'm not surprised by that. That is a super athletic kid. I can't believe he made it this far. All you can say is that when you see a kid like this with this much raw talent, who's a prep bat, it makes you wonder, like, is it a pool issue? He just wasn't willing to take less than a certain amount. Were teams concerned that maybe the fact that he's more of a big swing than a contact hitter, maybe that would play against him? Let's see if we can get this lamp to fuck right on off. So I don't know what the deal is, but it's exciting what's going on. Let's see. Brax15 says, Kyle, the legend, so happy you're live, man. Go Cards, Ty Madden, please. Yeah, that's where I'm at. As I mentioned, I'm big on Ty Madden. The progress that Ty Madden has made in a year between putting velocity on his fastball and building up his body, Ty Madden would be a great choice for the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's see. I like being able to click on these comments. Khalil would be awesome. That's right. We're going to wait and see what happens. Salud. Oh, yeah. So we've got Bud Light Orange. Salute to you. We have, which I didn't bring the bottle out, but we have 4 roses. Salute to you, to the St. Louis Cardinals as they prepare to draft in the 2021 draft, to all Prospects After Dark and Birds on the Black people. I feel like my feed is super laggy. I don't know what that's about. Let's see. X out of that, see if that helps. Let's see. Hello, Ron Nuttall. It's nice to see you. Big Old Buck says Watson would be huge. Yeah, give us some insight, Kyle. I don't have much insight. Look, the Cardinals, they keep everything pretty close to the vest. As it's official now, Miami has taken Khalil Watson with the 16th overall pick, so we can stop dreaming about Khalil Watson. My thought is that I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. One pick. They have 1 pick, the Cincinnati Reds, who as we know, with the high level thinking pitching coaches that they brought in, Ty Madden, it doesn't look like he's going to get by them. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they have a different guy, somebody who fits their profile a little bit better. But I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just excited for the pick when it happens. The other thing about this, and it could always be Gunnar Hoglund. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it's Gunnar Hoglund. I wouldn't be surprised if the Reds go Gunnar Hoglund. And to me, like, that'd be ideal. Like, for as we stand here at one pick away from the St. Louis Cardinals, I would be all on board for either Hoglund or Madden. Sorry, I'm buzzing out. So the issue, like I said, is there's a couple things we should probably preface before we get too far here. The first thing that I want to say is I am not as up to date on the prospects as the draft prospects as I usually am. I've been so into the Cardinal system that I haven't been able to really get into it the way that I wanted to. So we're going to be kind of learning about the pick as we go along. I know a lot about some of these guys, but not like I do with the system or I've done in past drafts. So we're going to be learning together. That's pretty exciting. Hello, Andres. Hello, DeRose. Hello, everyone. JP Cards. Let's go, Kyle. Ready for some great new talent. That's right. The Cardinals need pitching talent for sure. We're finding that out. But I'm just excited for whatever comes next for the St. Louis Cardinals. No doubt about it. But again, and then the second thing is I'm still trying my hardest to stay up to date on what's going on, so I'm not all that far behind from everyone else. Cards should pick Leiter as a power move. Yeah, I see. Drew Mauricio gets me. This is where I would be like, with the 18th pick, the Cardinals select Jack Leiter, and they were like, no, you can't have Jack Leiter. I would just keep resubmitting Jack Leiter's name, and then maybe Harry Ford, maybe throw him in there. Guys who've already been taken, I just submit him until they were like, all right, look, we'll do whatever. Just get this guy off my back. Holy Schilt says Gunnar, baby. Yeah, Gunnar Hoglund, who I'm sure I'll call Gunnar Henderson at some point. Gunnar Hoglund is a very exciting Ole Miss righty who is currently out with Tommy John. He had Tommy John in May. And, had he not, as everyone says, had he not been hurt, had he not undergone surgery, he would have been a top 10 pick. Maybe not in this draft. God only knows, because it's been such a wild draft. But he is a well-developed, a really strong, a really smart, team-leading big righty, and that checks all the boxes for Randy Flores and company. Let's see. Cincinnati is selecting Matt McClain, the utility infielder, shortstop from UCLA. Matt McClain was a first-round draft pick a couple of years ago, and it kind of had a little downtime this year, wasn't particularly good for a short period of time. And then there's some questions about Matt McClain's ability to hit for power at the next level, as well as his ability to stick at short. So that leaves the Cardinals with Hoglund. It leaves them with Madden. It leaves them with Wicks. McCreevy, who I think is a prototypical old school Cardinal pick, and it leaves them with the chance to maybe job the draft pool here, maybe go James Wood out of IMG Academy, something like that. Lonnie White, I could see something like that happening. But look, I think that I don't have any idea what the Cardinals are going to do with the next picks now that Matt McClain has been taken and the Cardinals are on the clock. Somebody asks, is this frozen? It is not frozen, but I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to turn the TV off because I think that's what's causing all the problem. I apologize if it's frozen. I don't know what's happening. Cardinals are about to go full Royals from Sam Lisby. Yeah, that could very well happen. Look, like I've said before, I was talking to a bunch of people about this. I think that's better. The stupid TV. I think that's better. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if Randy Flores pulls some crazy stuff here. Earlier in the week, Mr. Flores was talking about, and he's always been a zig when other people zag. But he was talking about the entirety of your draft, looking at the entirety of the draft instead of just your first pick to grade your draft. And normally this time of year, when he talks about their first pick, he talks about trusting the process, being able to think on your feet, adjust with what's coming at you. And I thought that was really interesting. And it made me wonder, and I don't think it's frozen anymore. It made me wonder if, as we talk about the Cardinals going full Royals, if the Cardinals were going to try to job their bonus pool, i.e. take somebody like the Red Sox took Nick York last year, who was kind of off like the big radar, and use that money later on in the draft. Now, the Red Sox were in a different situation. Red Sox only had 2 picks last year. They put all of their money in the 4th round pick, I believe, Blaze Jordan, after Nick York, and that's what they decided to do. Elway Season says Chase Petty to the Cardinals. Yeah, I know a lot of people are big on Chase Petty. I like Chase Petty. That's a big arm with a pretty repeatable delivery and some good secondary stuff. Again, just another one of those players that I would not be upset in any way if he was drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals are in a really great spot here. For me, again, if I'm in the draft room, I see what I have just on the very minimal, studying or scouting that I've done. It's not scouting because I'm trash. Anyways, I would go Ty Madden here. There's no way I wouldn't draft Ty Madden. He's got a bunch of really awesome stuff, big body, big, strong body, and he does everything really well, but we'll have to wait and see. Oh, nice. I thought my Periscope wasn't working, so I jumped on Twitch. Glad to see it worked. Awesome. Sorry about that, Holden. Sorry about that, everybody. Look, we had a lot of people join at once. I guess my TV was drawing too much of my Wi-Fi, and we're good to go now. So, well, that's what Passon alluded to. I don't know what we're talking about at this point. Sorry. It moves really fast on draft night, and that's part of the reason why we enjoy all of this chaos. As we're going on right now, I'm just trying to stay up to date on what's going on. Crazy. Sorry. And again, I've got a bunch of DMs going on, and I'm trying to get as much information for you guys as I can. Braden Brown says, pitching, please. Yeah, and I think that's a reaction to a lot of the struggles that the Cardinals pitchers have had at the minor league level and also at the major league level, but specifically the minor league level. But to me, and just from talking to some of the players, talking to some of the people that I know in the minor leagues, I think that there was a lack of preparation on the part of the St. Louis Cardinals in preparing their guys for the season. And I think some of the players feel it. And anyways, I think that we're just starting to see some of their pitchers get into a groove. So, look, pitching, just give me whoever the best is available. And, I'm always against overthinking the draft. I think sometimes that happens, and especially with this draft pool, I think teams can end up getting a little too aggressive and think, all right, well, we can target this guy down the road, and then anything could happen, or maybe you've already agreed to terms, but you can't agree to terms. Anyways, I don't want them to get too creative. I just want them to get the best players, and I think they're in a position where they need the best players. Sorry, as I frantically update to try to find out who the Cardinals are taking. Watson gone. That's right. I've watched Ty Madden for 3 years. He's the real deal from Jack Attack. I agree with you. Khalil to Miami. Khalil to the Fish. I would take you as a first overall pick. Austin Stone is making up for calling me something later. No, Austin Stone was the first person in here. I would take me with the first overall pick too. I put out as good as any of these kids do. Matt McClain to the Cards. That didn't happen. My buddy. Dan Watson, that's right. So it looks like we're a little bit behind. I'm going to try to get a little bit further. My buddy Dan Urker said Mike Minor. The Cardinals are going to draft Mike Minor and A-Rod with the 18th overall pick. It's a 2-for-1. Sarah, I did. I trimmed my hair. That's funny. I know you probably mean it as a joke, but I did. Kyle, please Ty Madden. I'm with you. Hello, Victoria Dryden. How are you? For all the people that are new to Prospects After Dark, this is the chaos that ensues on a somewhat regular basis whenever we get around to doing Prospects After Dark. We haven't done it in a while because it's a whole lot of energy, and I work for a living, and I'm old now. Iowanek, our good friend Derek, says, I hope they select Jordan Walker. That'd be a big coup. I agree with you. Can't believe Jack went 2. For sure. Let's see. There you are, Nelson. How are you? I hope the Cardinals take Petty. First rounder white elephant style. You can steal other teams' picks. That's right, John Dobblesy. You get it. You know what I'm saying. That's exactly what's going on. So it looks to me, and I could be wrong. I trust a source, but it looks like it might be prep outfielder Will Taylor, who actually fits in really well with the St. Louis Cardinals and what they do. We'll wait and see if that's who it is. From Dutch Fork, South Carolina, committed to Clemson. And he's a super athletic kid who kind of takes everything to all over the place. Again, we're just going to have to wait and see. The Cardinals are really good at waiting until the last minute. Again, I've had somebody slide in. Hold on. Let's see. And tell me that's what it is. But again, we're going to have to wait and see. Again, for me, it'd be Ty Madden. That's who I'd like. Anybody that they take, they're in a pretty good spot. I hope the Cardinals take Petty. We'll see about Chase Petty. Matheny Sucks says thoughts on Trey Sweeney. I like Trey Sweeney a lot, the Eastern Illinois kid. I spent a good bit of time in Eastern Illinois, and I like that town. So, I'm on board for that. I think some people think that Trey Sweeney is going to end up being a third baseman. Some people think that he, doesn't have a hit tool, although I disagree with all of it. I've seen that kid hit lefties. I've seen him hit righties. I think he can stick it short. I think he's more athletic than Paul DeYoung was at the same spot. And I think with the right kind of teaching, I think that he could stay. And I'd be happy if the Cardinals took Trey Sweeney at 18. Gunnar Hoglund from Nelson. I could very well see Ole Miss righty Gunnar Hoglund being the Cardinals pick at 18. I don't necessarily know if that's the direction they'll go. Remember, Hoglund just had Tommy John surgery. I love Hoglund. I don't know if that would prevent the Cardinals from going after him. But again, we'll wait and see. We are on the edge of our seats as I'm constantly refreshing and trying to get as much information as I possibly can. It's Hoglund. It has to be from Chris DeMann. Nelson says Hoglund. Elway Season says Petty. Can we have Ty Madden, please? I'm surprised to see Ty Madden fall this far. Ty Madden was one of those pitchers that I saw at the beginning of the year and thought, there's no way. Hold on, I need a drink already. Sorry, guys, I'm trying my hardest to stay up. Let's see. Werman Sayre says, just draft Pete Kozma again. I love the Pete Kozma draft pick. I draft him again. Draft him over and over and over. So with the 18th overall pick, the Cardinals select UC Santa Barbara right-handed pitcher Michael McGreevy. Now, I had a feeling this was going to happen, man. I've told many, many people over the last couple nights that I thought Michael McGreevy would be the pick. Let me tell you why Michael McGreevy is going to be the pick for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, again, I would have gone in a couple different directions. I can't help but think that this is a bonus move more than anything. Maybe not a big save, but a little save. McGreevy's a big kid from UC Santa Barbara. He's 6'4". He pitches with great great momentum. He pitches with great rhythm. He has a really good fastball that has gained velocity, and also as he's gained size, he has a good slider, a good curveball, and a good change, and he has great command. Now, the other thing about McGreevy is he checks those other boxes for the St. Louis Cardinals, the ones those ones that Randy Flores loves. He is an honor roll kid. I want to say he's an academic All-American. He's definitely on the honor roll. He also is a team leader. He's a charming young man. You go listen to an interview with him. He's a lot of fun. So, with the 18th overall pick, the Cardinals select Michael McGreevy, a right-handed pitcher out of the University of Santa Barbara, or Santa Clara, right? Santa Clara. Yeah, well, Santa Barbara. That's right. UC Santa Barbara. 6'4", 220-ish pounds, 210. I think he's actually a little smaller than what he's listed. He doesn't walk a lot. He strikes out a lot of people. He has an untaxed arm. He spent a lot of time working out of the Santa Barbara bullpen. And this is a good. It's a good move for the Cardinals. It is a safe move for the Cardinals, which doesn't really seem to jive all that strongly with what Randy Flores and company have done. So, again, I don't really have a problem with it. I would have rather had Ty Madden. I would have rather had Gunnar Hoglund. I probably would have rather have had Jordan. Well, I actually like McGreevy better than Wicks. I think Jordan Wicks is a really good pitcher. I think if Jordan Wicks was a right-hander, I think that we wouldn't be talking about him in the middle of the first round. I think we're going to see him slip to maybe the deep first, early second, because I think teams are on to that as well. So, that's my thoughts about the Cardinals draft pick. I don't want to so as Tom Ackerman tweets, it's only been 30 seconds and I love Michael McGreevy's family. Yeah, see, I'm telling you that another box that clicks. Ron Nuttall says they should have taken Shoptaw. I agree. But what round? The 69th of the 20 rounds. Hoglund got to be the pick. So we were all wrong about Hoglund. Let's take some time to get caught up a little bit. Let's see. We were right there. How we doing? I'm doing well, Octavius Rex. How are you? Ty Madden, please. Yeah, we were all pretty. Any local? Sam Lisby says any local breweries in St. Louis you recommend? All of them, man. There's so many good. There's Perennial. You see, Urban Chestnut's fine. Schlafly's fine. Just any of them. Civil Life is awesome. There are plenty of really great breweries in St. Louis. T. Bomada says, who is this Corbin guy on MLB Network? His suit cannot contain him. That's Tim Corbin. That is the coach for Vanderbilt. Vandy's probably the most decorated coach in college baseball history, the most highly regarded coach in baseball history, too. Watching Draft Live from Krista Mann. Hello, Krista Mann. I love you, Gersh. Wow. An outfielder is Tracy. The pick is in. Let's see. We're getting caught up. Pools. Let's see. Beer looks good. That's right. You guys get a beer. Just draft the next Mike Trout. It's not hard. Randy Flores, I agree. Draft the next Ohtani. He can throw strikes at least from Rocket season. Yeah, that's the big the big thing with McCreevy. He's a good kid who can throw strikes and is a pretty safe bet. Hold on, I gotta. So some of my friends are not particularly happy with the selection of Michael McGreevy, and I don't blame them. Especially with all the guys that were on the board. Four Hands is another great brewery, as J. David Reed says. I'm just glad the Cardinals took pitching. I think most people are. I don't really care. I just wanted them to take whoever was the best. I'm anxious to see what exactly. Sorry, I get distracted. I've got too much shit going on. I'm sorry. What I'm anxious to see is how much the draft pool savings was for McCreevy. Because if there wasn't any savings, then that is not the best draft pick. And again, I'm not trying to beat up on him. I like Michael McCreevy. I think he's a really good pitcher. I just like a lot of the other options on the board better. And I want to go back a little bit too, because remember when the Cardinals drafted Zach Thompson, and I love Zach Thompson. You guys know I love Zach Thompson. The guy that I wanted was Elon pitcher George Kirby. And I think that would have been the right move to make then. I think that it probably would have been the right move to make now. But I think sometimes you overthink the draft. I get what they were doing with Thompson, and I love Thompson. Zach Thompson's going to be a great pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And I think Michael McCreevy is going to be a really good pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. But I just, it's going to be fun now. It's going to be fun because now we get to watch it. We'll see what happens with Gunnar Hoagland, but eventually Ty Madden's going to get drafted. We'll see what happens with Ty Madden. We'll see what happens with Jordan Wicks. There are a lot of players, a lot of good pitchers out there as the Blue Jays select Gunnar Hoagland that the Cardinals decided to pass up on. And I have to believe that that has just as much to do with jobbing the pool, with trying to manipulate their monies as possible. But we'll see. He throws strikes, and maybe the Cardinals are just reacting to an organization that's having a lot of trouble throwing strikes. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. J. David, Four Hands. CWE says 20 walks in his college career. Can he join the team now? That'd be interesting. Worman Sarah says, I just don't like how much McCreevy sounds like Mike Matheny. Now that you bring it up, I hate him. I hope he retires tomorrow. Cardinal fan 022 says, who do you have winning the Derby tomorrow? I don't care at all about the home run Derby. Matt Olson. Is Matt Olson participating? Halfcock 32 says, the control excites me. Time for an Arby's Euro. That's right. Control your bowels as the Arby's Euro courses through your system into the void as you shit out your brains at a velocity that only Jordan Hicks could hit. By the way, to the Hicks family, I raised my glass. I don't know if they're in here or not. I've got a whole different setup, but I love the Hicks family. To the Hicks and Carlson family, I raised my glass. You guys are the best. I love you. Ugh. Yeah. Happy opening days, Kyle. Hello, Sarah. So there I was. Beat Padetti says, with the big mouth thing. Snoop Dogg says they passed on Wicks, Hoagland, and Madden. Yeah, this could end up being, it's funny. All these people were like, in Randy Flores we trust, in Randy Flores we trust. And maybe we should also continue to say that in Randy Flores we trust. I don't know. Maybe now people will change their minds about it. We'll see what they do later in the draft. Again, earlier in the week, all I heard Randy Flores say, the couple times I heard him talking, one time I read him, which came from Rob Raines, he kept talking about the draft being about the entirety of the draft, not just the first round. And it made me wonder if they were going to try to job their draft pool because of it. But we'll see what the rest of it looks like. Tonight, I would imagine people will say it's a decent pick. It's a reaction to what they're seeing in the organization. But yeah, look, McCreevy he's a good player. He's fastball slider. His slider's good. He's got big time control. And yeah, like it's a safe move. It just seems like a safe move, low risk kind of thing, which we haven't really seen much out of the Randy Flores era. Jigsy says, why doesn't every team have an Ohtani? Get on it, Manfred. By the way, how great is it to hear Rob Manfred get booed every time he comes up to the podium? Less than 1 walk per 9, that might play. Again, keep in mind that University of Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, isn't it's not the Pac-12. It's not. Yeah, it's not, nothing against the all Big West against the Big West, because that's a pretty good league too. But it's not a top tier. So we'll see how it translates. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Michael McCreevy, once he signs his contract, at Peoria or at Palm Beach, and then move to Peoria pretty quickly. Speaking of which, C70 says McCreevy a fast riser. He has the potential to be. Again, his slider's good, his fastball's good, his command's good. I would imagine the Cardinals would want him to be a fast riser. He'll be put in a situation probably to rise fast through the ranks. But we're gonna have to wait and see. I think that I think he's good. Hey, the Yankees are going to select Trey Sweeney, the Eastern Illinois kid. I like that. That's a pretty good move. That's a good move for them. Anyways, yeah, I can see it happening. There's no reason to hold him back if he's showing potential, but I do think that there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period for them with him. And let me put it this way. Look, I'm trying to be as politically correct with this. Michael McCreevy is a good pitcher. He's not great. He has a lot of work to do to get to the point where you would say, well, that was probably worth the 18th overall pick. He has that potential, but I don't think it's that large. I do think he is a low floor guy. I think that maybe this is Dakota Hudson with command, but not as good of a slider. A really good slider, but not as good of a slider, and not as bitey of a fastball, although his fastball does run well. I think that it's safe, and that kind of disappoints me, especially with the other options. I think the Cardinals made the wrong move here, but it's still a good move in the same point. I just think that there were a lot of other options. Again, this is probably just a move. Well, again, you get a good command first pitcher, really, with some good breaking pitch and a good fastball, and with an opportunity to maybe spend those dollars somewhere else along the lines that you might have saved from signing him, unless he signs for slot, and then this is a fucking terrible pick. Steve McNeil says Perennial is a really good brewery as well. I love Perennial. I thought that was yeah, D-Mash11 says Heavy Riff, most underrated brewery. I love Heavy Riff in Dogtown. That's one of my favorite places to go. Just a cool place. Good food at Heavy Riff, too. Worman Sir says, what level do you think he starts at in the minors? My guess would be that, he'll probably get a couple, again, with the minor leagues changing, with their up being without the short season affiliates, I would imagine he'll get some time in the Complex League. And they get moved up to Palm Beach pretty quick because they're right next door to each other. They're in the same facility. And then probably up to Peoria by the end of the year. But he's pitched a lot of innings, too. Not a lot, but he's pitched a good deal of innings. And the Cardinals are usually conservative, and reasonably so, with the kids who have pitched a lot of innings out of college as they enter their first half season at the major league, and major league affiliation. Graham says, hey, Graham, how are you, bud? Cardinals develop pitching better. Obviously, picks of Plummer, Perez, Gorman, Walker are pending. Yeah, in the past, the Cardinals have developed pitching better. No doubt about it. But part of the reason that the Cardinals are in kind of a rough situation at the minor league level is recently they haven't developed pitching that much better. Maybe it's the guys that they've targeted. Jake Woodford didn't develop the way that they thought. Dakota Hudson developed kind of the way they thought, but not exactly. Alcantara, Gallen were sent off in a trade. Probably the right move to make at the time that just didn't pan out the way they wanted it to. But all of these guys that we mentioned are kind of prospects of a bygone era, right? Flaherty, prospect of a bygone era at this point. They've got new pitching coaches at the minor league level. They have kind of a new system at the minor league level. My guess is that Michael McCreevy, other than being a great kid who's highly decorated, both scholastically and on the field, he fits in all of this. No way that they draft a kid who doesn't. But I don't necessarily think they got the kid with the highest upside that's going to do the most damage. I think that there were other options there that, maybe the old style Cardinals would have had a better chance of, developing and getting more out of. But again, that's not to beat up on Michael McCreevy. That's a talented pitcher. I just like some of the other people. Let's see. Ben Godar, my good friend, our good friend Ben Godar says, if you don't love saving money, this is not the franchise for you. Ooh, shot across the bow. The bow. Yeah, no, for sure. Save all that money. Save all that money. It would be hilarious if the Cardinals only use like half of their draft pool, and we're like, yeah, we're just gonna save this cash. We're gonna save it. Keep that in mind when you don't turn out to Busch Stadium. Like, how funny would it be from now on? That was our thing. Like, yeah, we only spent half of our draft pool because we're only filling up half the stadium. Oh, can you imagine how great that would be? Let's see. Graham says home run derby was more fun when home runs were harder to come by. Yeah, maybe. To me, the home run derby, I don't care. I'd rather have the night off. The thing about Monday is there's no minor league baseball on Mondays. So that means I'll probably spend the day pouring over as much Michael McCreevy info and data as I can. And maybe we'll do pad tomorrow night. We'll see in preparation for the longer form draft that'll, the rest of the rounds that'll happen. Holy shit, it's going to be really funny when McCreevy is in the rotation this weekend. Yeah, that'd be funny. Hell, maybe the Cardinals think they could do that. I personally don't think the difference between, and I'm not the only one here. This isn't like, so far off the beaten path, but I don't think that the collegiate ranks, the high-level collegiate ranks, are all that far off from maybe high A or double A at this point. I do think that there's a bigger delta between double A and high A than maybe there's ever been. So I don't think the collegiate ranks are that far away from A plus like Peoria. But college baseball is about as good as it's ever been. Chris Demand says, was there no two-way players like Mason Wynn in this draft? There were a couple. Like there's two in particular that come to my mind right away. There's more than that, but Bubba Chandler, a prep kid, big kid. He's also a quarterback commit for Clemson. He was projected in about this range, still hasn't been drafted. And then Swellenbach, whose first name I can't think of, Spencer Swellenbach from Nebraska, who is a shortstop, but probably will have to move to third, and it was a relief pitcher for Nebraska, but has also dealt with arm problems. Those were the two big two-way players. But to answer the question, as athletic as Bubba Chandler is, none of them are like Mason Wynn. Mason Wynn is a completely different beast because of how athletic he is, how talented he was at the time. Mason Wynn is on a level unto his own. Banana slugs rule. That's right. So the banana slugs rule is if a ball gets hit into the stands and a fan catches it, it counts as an out, right? Am I wrong about that? Jigsy says, can I get a screenshot of Kyle with the comment that just says, eat Arby's? Somebody go ahead. Huh. All right, we did it. Good work, team. Vanilla pick. It is. It's a very vanilla pick. And, they haven't had a vanilla pick in a really long time, so I guess they can get away with it. Was Bednar still on the board? No, Bednar went a couple picks prior. Really good player, though. People criticizing MLB is always hilarious. Don't act like you know something about some player nobody has ever heard of before. That's funny. Let's see. Stream US, blah, blah, blah. Took McGreevy and OOTP Mets franchise working well so far. That OOTP doesn't make any sense to me. Never mind, taken by the Giants. Spencer Schwellenbach, yeah, he was the other one. OFC, we developed pitching better. I don't know what OFC stands for. We have the Jeff Albert hitting approach, which, by the way, the Jeff Albert hitting approach has really worked out at the minor league level, especially as they've been able to integrate a lot of advanced technology. So maybe it's not working at the major league level, but we're starting to see gains at the minor league level. CWEB 521 says, is Mason going to pitch or play short, or is he the next Ohtani? So he has played short and hit exclusively. He's still throwing. From what I understand, and I could be wrong about this, but he's still pitching on the backfields. Maybe he's here. Maybe he can jump on in. But yeah, look, I still think that there's a chance that he pitches. But the process was to just get him in the batter's box, get him playing short, getting him up to speed there, and kind of adjusting on the fly. Why are you so negative? He just got drafted. Because I'm the worst. Krista, man, you mean you spend money? You spend Monday hungover? No, So I really don't drink all that much anymore. Like I had last weekend, we drank a little bit, and I didn't like the way it felt the next morning. So I mean, honestly, like I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. And it's funny too, because like the shit I say on Twitter, it's crazier when I'm sober. Like When I was talking about the runs last night, I was completely sober. When I'm talking about not wanting a following, I'm completely sober. And I can't stress this enough. I'm not interested in a following. You have no reason to follow me. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm interested in this. I love having Pad where we can all come together and enjoy each other and be communal. Like, I love that. But the rest of that shit, I got nothing for. That's not for me. I stand by social media being a toxic form of communication. Except for things like this where we're all kind of operating. And even then, who was toxic tonight? Oh yeah, me. I'm the toxic one. Let's see. Did the Cards auto pick from Jeff Niehaus? Jeff Niehaus, I raised my glass of bourbon. That'd be funny. Like, just in a fantasy draft, they said it and they're like, oh shit, we forgot all about it. All right, well, it looks like we have a little bit of a break. Again, not just to recap what we saw and what we're seeing. Hold on, blah, blah, blah. Man, we've got so much stuff going on. Let's see. Oh, boy, I've got Cubs and Cardinal fans arguing in my stupid mentions. Terrific. Just terrific. By the way, Jordan Wicks, who went after to the Cubs, is a great pick. It's a great pick for the Cubs. It's a great pick for the Cubs. If the Cardinals had drafted him, we'd all be really happy about it. Where are we at? McCreevy is safe, but still, yeah, he's pretty safe. He's made huge gains. There's also upside there. Look, there's also big upside there. He's got a changeup to dream on. His slider's really good. His fastball's really good, and his command's really good. It's exactly what the Cardinals need. It honestly feels like the kind of thing where maybe Mo had more to do with this pick than anything. I don't know for sure. It's not probably fair to speculate, but we're not talking about anything else, so who really cares? Who do you think they go for in round 2 from Booked Dano? Booked Dano, I don't have the slightest idea, and I'm sorry about that. Maybe they get aggressive in round 2. I would imagine that if they ended up saving a little bit of money from McCreevy, they'll get aggressive in round 2 and maybe draft somebody who fell to them, who needed a bigger bonus. Maybe they're saving their bonus money for a player later down in the draft after 10 rounds. I'm not sure. Thoughts on Ethan Wilson? I like Ethan Wilson a lot. Look, I like so many of the players in this draft. I wouldn't say that I like Ethan Wilson, more than some other guys, but I like South Alabama's program. I like his left-handed swing. I like, he's a smart kid too. I like his hit tool. His power is, iffy, but I also think that his swing is beautiful and it's engineered for more. It's not engineered for power. It's engineered more for hit. I think with a little tweaking, something like Ethan Wilson could hit for more power, but right now he's just a hitter more than anything, and I like that. I also think that fits the Cardinals' style right now of what's going on at the minor league level. Holy Schultz says, ha, 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 Cubs get Wicks. Again, Wicks is fine. Again, to me, if he was a righty, we wouldn't be talking about him being in this range, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad pick for them. I don't really have a thought one way or the other. Worm Answer says, do you think this draft for the Cardinals will end up being more pitching or hitting leaning? I think if you had to pick, you would say pitching. The Cardinals have really good minor league hitting going on right now, as you've seen all of my tweets. But, look, I think that it would make sense that the Cardinals will go pitching heavy. And it's a pretty good draft for collegiate pitchers. Some of the prep pitchers are really good too, but it's a good draft for collegiate pitchers. So maybe that'd be a smart move to go into me. Sometimes you try to zig a little too much when there's a bunch of zagging going on. But maybe they go heavy on bats because of all the collegiate pitching. A couple years back when there was a bunch of collegiate middle infielders, they went and the collegiate pitching was weak. They went collegiate pitching heavy. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect here. Graham says, thoughts on Jacob Wilson? Yeah, the longtime Cardinals minor leaguer who wasn't an affiliated ball for a little bit of time, played overseas, I think, and yesterday made his major league debut with the Oakland A's. To Jacob Wilson, I raise my glass. Graham, how are you doing, buddy? I feel like I haven't seen or talked to you in some time. Scout STL says, I've seen Wicks pitch for K-State against my Sooners. They passed on a good one there. That sucks. Yeah, again, I think Jordan Wicks is a really good pitcher. Again, I think that if he were right-handed, he wouldn't be talked about going in this range. He has really good command. He has a really good changeup, a fastball that is lively, and he throws hard. But, he's fine. Look, I like a lot of these guys. There were so many guys that I had on my list here, and I'm sad that the Cardinals couldn't draft all of them. How excited should I be about Alec Burleson? You should be very excited, J. David Reed. Look, I've enjoyed watching Alec Burleson. He's a little clunky out in the outfield. He kind of labors to run a little bit, but he's not slow. That's all a positive. He has a really great contact tool. He kind of pokes the ball all over the place with 2 strikes, but he can also drive a ball over the fence. I want the Cardinals to leave him where he's at right now. I'd like for him to finish a year out at AA. There's no reason to push him any further than you have. Let him have hit some success. He's a more patient hitter than what he's showing. I don't care if he's hitting the ball. Who cares? But, right now he's not as patient as maybe he needs to be or the Cardinals need him to be. I say that, but as long as he's hitting, I don't care if he has a 333 on-base percentage or a 340 on-base percentage. And the way he's hitting, too, I think that that's sustainable even without a ton of walks. Look, be really excited about Alec Burleson. It'd be hard for me to argue that he's not a top 8 prospect in the organization at this point. And I haven't done any Dirty 35 work as I point to my whiteboard. I've been trying to organize them in position rankings more than the Dirty 35. But he would definitely be a top 10 prospect. There's no way there's 9 prospects better in the organization than him. Halfcock 32 says, who's a college hitter you love that might be available in rounds 2 through 5? Who is Connor Norby from ECU? I love Connor Norby. He hits breaking pitches really well. He's kind of like a poor man's Matt McClain. If they're anyways, he's going to be like a poor man's Matt McClain. What he struggles with is hitting heat, and it's because he just hasn't seen it. But Connor Norby is like my one guy, my one college hitter that I don't think will be there for the Cardinals at pick 54. But if he makes it there, that's like I love Connor Norby. He's a second baseman, so that might get him there. A lot of teams will say he's not a shortstop, blah, blah, blah. But Connor Norby is like the one guy that I really like. I just like his hitting tool. Young McFlurry, hey, what's up, yo? Says, I'm just sitting here dreaming on a Carlson, Gorman, Walker, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, hopefully Gorman and Walker continue to progress. Hopefully Carlson continues to progress. I think all 3 will. And here in 3 years, they're all performing at peak abilities for the St. Louis Cardinals. I've been so impressed with Jordan Walker. He's not hitting statistically at Peoria. And he had a 3 strikeout game the other night, or maybe a golden sombrero. But I don't think that begins to tell how good he's been down there. He's been really impressive. Chris DeMann says, glad we didn't take this Cub lover win. Nick Plummer living up to his potential. That's been so much fun, right? And again, look, we can talk about the draft. We can talk about the Cardinals prospects after dark. Let's talk about the Cardinals prospects. I'm ready to talk about them. It's been so awesome to see Nick Plummer live up to his potential. To watch the strides that he's made in both his approach and his body and his swing, and doing it mostly by, on his own, being dedicated to do it on his own, and also using the resources of the hitting lab and some of the new techniques and ideas being pushed by the Cardinals organization. It's awesome. The thing that people don't know about Nick Plummer is how much of a role model, of an influencer he's been for some of the younger players in the organization, how much of a leader he's been for them. And that speaks volumes of the type of person Nick Plummer is. Tonight, I'll raise my glass higher to Nick Plummer than anyone else. To Nick Plummer, we raise our glass to you, brother. Good for you. Derek says, should we be concerned about Terry Fuller's struggles? Yeah, I hate to say it at this point. You never write off a prospect. We were just talking a minute ago about Nick Plummer, a prospect that we basically wrote off. But I think that you pretty well, unless things change drastically, because Terry Fuller looked completely overmatched in that week I got to watch him early on in the season. I don't know if Terry Fuller's a thing anymore. Worman Sarah says, do you think Yepes gets a call-up by the end of the year? Yeah, I hope so. He deserves it. Juan Yepes absolutely deserves a call-up by the end of the year. Now, the thing about him that's tough is he's probably best suited for an infield corner, maybe even first base more than third, but he's made such great progress at third base. Those are all positives. He's probably a left fielder more than a right fielder. You could probably put him out in the outfield a little bit. But, yeah, look, I think Juan Yepes has done everything to earn a promotion. I also think it's sustainable. If the DH were here, I think that he'd be a great fit for that DH role right now, or moving someone else to the DH and having him. But, yeah, look, the outfield's going to be Carlson, O'Neill, and Bader pretty regularly. But I definitely think Yepes deserves a shot. He's zoned in right now, but even when he's not zoned in, I think he's good. Will Delvin and Plummer be on the Cardinals 2023 opening day lineup from Andres? So that's 2 years from now. I'll say one of those guys is traded. I don't know which one, and the other one will be on the roster. I don't know about the opening day lineup at the roster. How about that, Andres? It's nice to see you, Andres. Graham, once a Pad fan, always a Pad fan. Bring back Matt Pierce. Oh, boy, I love that Matt Pierce. To you, Graham, I hope everything's going well with you, bud. Gunt, I'd ask about Juan Yepes too. Yeah, look, I think it'll happen. You talk about some of the pieces that would end up going into a trade for the St. Louis Cardinals, and look, Juan Yepes is really good, but if the Cardinals wanted to get better, that's the kind of piece that I think a lot of teams would be really interested in, because he smokes the baseball and he always hits it hard. Same thing with Delvin Perez or Nick Plummer. Look ahead of Nick Plummer in the outfield. Look, I want the Cardinals to keep Nick Plummer. If I had to choose between the two, I'd rather have them keep Nick Plummer than Delvin Perez. Nothing against Delvin. I want them to keep Delvin too. But the issue with Nick of Mr. Plummer is you look at all the outfielders who are ahead of him that have diminished value. And if you want to get better, like, is a team going to be more inclined to ask for Nick Plummer or Lane Thomas? I would think it's Nick Plummer. Are they going to want a hurt Austin Dean or Nick Plummer? Nick Plummer. Scott Hurst or Nick Plummer, no doubt. Connor Capel or Nick Plummer, no doubt. And all of these guys that are ahead of him on the depth chart, for the most part, Justin Williams and Lane Thomas still withstanding, because I still don't know what to make of either of those. But all those guys ahead of him, and I just Lars Nootbaar, I just see a lot of interesting pieces that could be used in a trade if needed. Victoria says, I miss Lib's inning in the future. Who can tell me how it went? It went really well for him. He let up a hard hit ball to the first batter, but it was out. Light hit ball to the second batter, and then struck out the third batter, Julio Rodriguez, the highly, highly decorated outfield prospect for the Mariners. Do you think Prince Muscle Man was robbed of an all-star spot? I don't care enough about the all-star game to be worried if he was robbed or not. I'm sorry about that. I would have loved to have seen him be an all-star. I would have loved to have seen him in the home run derby. But I honestly don't care about it. I'm sure he's got something in his contract that if he ended up going to the all-star game, he would oh, so my bad. If there was money to be had there, then yeah, I'm upset for him that he didn't make it. But other than that, I don't care. Graham says, are Brady Whalen and Bryce Denton still a thing? No, believe it or not, Bryce Denton is no longer in the organization, Graham. And Brady Whalen has played really, really well for Peoria. Nothing like off the charts, a little above league average. He had a 3 home run game about a month ago now at this point, playing a really good defensive first base. And he's kind of a team leader. Holy Schild said, rank these 3 by earliest to get called up: Gorman, Libby, and Thompson. I'll say Libby, Thompson, and Gorman in that order. Gorman is overmatched at AAA. It could all change. It changed really quick at AA. But Gorman does not look good at AAA in any capacity. He'll get better. He'll get good. But it was a mistake to rush him to AAA. He should have still been at AA. And the Cardinals will feel the brunt of that for at least a little bit of time. Cardinals fan 022, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Thanks so much. Always, Victoria. Is Paul DeJong the opening day shortstop next year? Yes, because the Cardinals have him. Well, first off, there won't be it next year because there'll be a work stoppage. And they won't play next year. But the year after, yeah, they will. They have him on lockdown. I don't see another team trading for him unless they upgrade it short, which I don't really see happening. So, yeah. And, Mike Schilt loves Paul DeJong. So I don't think that he's going anywhere. All right, what else do we have to talk about? Sorry. Do the Cardinals early draft picks under Flores draft for MLB need for the first year, blah, blah, blah. Boy, I've got a lot of shit going on. East Carolina. Oh, Cleveland's taking Gavin Williams. Good for them. Boy, I don't even know what's going on here. My freaking mentions. I made the mistake of retweeting the fact that the Cubs took someone, and now my mentions are a complete mess. Good work, team. Cards fan 022 says, I love seeing Luke and Baker doing what he's doing and have the 1B of the future when Goldie's done. Yeah, Luke and Baker has been streaky. There are times when he's maybe the most productive hitter in the Springfield Cardinals lineup, and then there's times where he struggles. So when Baker swings, and I'm going to do a poor job, but when he swings, he really raises his body up. So that means a lot of times when you get a pitch low that he makes contact with, he basically buries into the ground. Now, he hits everything hard. But the other two things that Luke and Baker does that are really interesting is he'll smoke a baseball 1.5 million feet, and it'll go foul. Or because his swing is flat, when he makes contact, he gets weird backspin on the baseball, and he'll hit it to the warning track. And part of that is because of the way that he brings his body up. It's almost like, it's not like this. You're not doing this. He goes like this. And it gives him more leverage, but with the flat swing, it just kind of like the ball doesn't get the velocity that it needs. It doesn't get the heat that it needs, and it spins weird. So it dies. He has some work to do to be the first baseman in the future, but it's worth mentioning with Luke and Baker about the steps that he's made defensively, because he is way, way ahead of where he was in 2019. That is a guy who can play first base at the next level. It's been awesome to watch him convert into that type of defensive first baseman, because he was never that, and it never looked like he was going to be that. Now, probably just average, maybe a little bit below average, but not Jose Martinez over there, at least not at first. He gets a little bit bigger, anything could happen. But yeah, look, he's been impressive in spurts, and sometimes he's not. Victoria says, when do we draft next? They draft tomorrow, pick 54 and then 70 after that. 54, 70, 90, and 120 are like their next picks, I think. What's a scoop on old Griffin Roberts these days? He's hurt, Graham. I don't know exactly what the deal is with the injury, but the little bit he pitched this year was really, really bad. What is Luke and Baker's ceiling? I think that if he adjusts his swing a little bit, he could be Luke Voigt, something like that, just to do the lazy St. Louis comparison. But, the thing I always tell people is, why do we even talk about a player's ceiling, Drew Langley? Like, how many players reach their ceiling? What, you think maybe 0.5% of players reach their ceiling? What's his most likely outcome? A really bench bat, a guy who can do some really interesting things, have some really good at-bats in a DH spot if the DH is in the National League in the coming years. I think that's the most likely outcome for him, and maybe as a very interesting trade piece for a team that currently has a DH. Andre says, you think Nootbaar is a better hitter than Bader? Not right now. I don't think Harrison Bader has made some really great strides as a hitter. I don't think we get to see it all the time, and I don't think he's been healthy for a long enough spout for us to really get a feel for it. But I would not say right now. I definitely think Lars Nootbaar has a chance to be a better hitter than Harrison Bader. But I think if you were to give each of them, 200 at-bats, Bader would be the better hitter of the two in the immediate future. Maybe if you were to fast forward 1,000 at-bats, Lars Nootbaar would be the better hitter. Holy Ship says, Ivan Herrera update, 2030 opening day starter when Molina retires in 2029. Yeah, I think so. You'll look at the stats for Ivan Herrera, and you might not be as impressed as maybe you should be. Herrera is a patient hitter, and it almost works to his detriment. That's the one thing that I want to see him do. I'd actually like to see him be more aggressive. Earlier in the week when he hit that grand slam, he swung at the first pitch, and I was trying to think, I don't remember the last time I saw him swing at the first pitch in the last month or so. So he's still trying to refine his approach, but he takes a good at bat. He has a good hitter's eye. Pardon me. Oh, shit. Jello shots. Ha! So to Michael McCreevy, we're going to do a really quick Jello shot. This is a Slurp alcohol-infused peach bottom. I don't know if you can see it there. So to Michael McCreevy, we're doing a Jello shot. I brought these Jello shots out for when we drafted, and I forgot. Not hung over my ass. So yeah, I do think that there's catcher of the future still in his potential. Halfcock 32 says, how's Mason Wynn looking? He's looking fucking great for an 18-year-old, 19-year-old now, who had split positions between shortstop and starting pitcher all of these years as a prep player, and a pitcher all of these years as a prep player, and kind of struggled at first, as you would suspect, because Palm Beach is a tough assignment for any player who has never played organized professional baseball. He's been great. Take out those first couple of weeks, and Mason Wynn has far exceeded any type of expectations that I personally had for him, and not because of his talent, but because I thought it might take somebody a little time to come along. Mason Wynn is a true athlete, a true baseball player. Remember, when they drafted Mason Wynn on draft night, the one thing we kept saying is, this isn't Trajan Fletcher. This is a kid who can actually play baseball. He might be raw, but it's not raw with no baseball sense. It's raw with baseball sense. And the athleticism and the baseball sense and the mind of his, and he's a team leader, and he's a great kid. It's all working out, and you can't ask for anything more than that. To Mason Wynn, to Jordan Walker, Nick Plummer, Nick Tergolik-Iverson, all the guys who, and I probably shouldn't have said all of it, but the people who've reached out to me, people who've been really cool in the system, to all of you, I raised my Jell-O shot. I'm going to end up getting those kids in trouble. I almost said another one. Anyways, the kids at the minor league level are awesome. Randy, if there's one thing you want to say about Randy Flores, they draft smart kids and they draft salt of the earth kids. They draft awesome, awesome kids. B. Schrupp says, just got here and I'm disappointed to see the shirt is still on. Yeah, sorry, too sober for that. We'll get it off eventually one of these days. Most likely outcome, cash considerations. That's a lot of fun, J. David. Worman Sarah says, what have you thought of Sosa recently? Seems like he's been going for slug rather than contact at times. That's I think that is just Edmundo Sosa's swing. You know, he uncoils, right? Like, even when he's hitting for contact, if he swings and miss, you'll see him really uncoil. And that's just the way he swings. I think that there's definitely maybe a little bit more sellout recently, but the version of Edmundo Sosa that we've seen at the plate and in the field over the last 3 or 4 weeks definitely mirrors the minor league version of Edmundo Sosa, which is a really good 24th, 25th, 26th man on the on a roster. I'm happy with what he's doing. I just, I'm not surprised that he's come back to earth, is what I'm saying. Graham asks, what's up with all the injuries around baseball? And this also goes into minor league baseball. And I think it's just simple as a 60-game season last year at the major league level, no minor league baseball at all, and the taxing nature of playing baseball for 200 days out of a year, or more than that, 230 days out of a year. Cardinal fan 022 says, how has Walker been since his promotion? You look at the stats, you'll be kind of disappointed. He had a game where an umpire was trying to make an example out of him. In his first at bat, the pitcher threw a pitch that was ankle high, and I don't exaggerate, outside and ankle high. And the umpire called it a strike, and Jordan shook his head and was kind of animated about it being a bad call. And at that point, it was over for him that game. Anything that was low out of the zone was called a strike, and he didn't adjust to it. He asked for it. Any umpire at the minor league level, first off, they're all already bad, but they're going to try to make an example out of him. And they did that with Jordan, which was a bummer. I feel for that kid. But look, he's had a couple miscues in the field, nothing that you wouldn't expect. It's not like he was terrible or anything. He's actually been really good in the field. And again, the hits, you might look at it, the hits aren't really there. They're not huge, but he has been good at Peoria. I guess what I'm saying is the stats won't reflect how good Jordan's been. Joe Drake says, yeah, celebrate. I think that's what that is, or maybe it's a taco. I'm not 100% sure, Joe. To Joe, Joe works for Prospects Live. To Prospects Live and to Joe, I raise my glass, my beer. Joe has done amazing work for the draft. He's doing amazing work at the complex level, the low levels of the minor leagues, providing video. Follow J Drake 349, please. He's one of my favorites. To you, and I called you the wrong fucking name a couple weeks ago. I'm sorry about that. Cucky, my lover from another mother, Cucky, says, what's that tongue do? And Cucky, you and I both know that if there's a man on earth who knows what this tongue does other than my brothers, it's you. Next player to be selected to the roster, as in new to the big club. Well, my thought with that is, like TJ McFarland, I could see that. Maybe Austin Warner, somebody like that. I think that's probably the next step we see is some of those guys who the Cardinals are starting to bring into the organization. Maybe Kevin McGovern, maybe Tyler Pike, something like that. If you're talking about like out of the big time prospects, I still think it's Matthew Liberatore. Maybe Connor Thomas, who pitched out of relief today. Maybe it's him. Maybe they need to start go to him. Under the radar guy in the minors to get excited about from Hathcock 32. Well, I think that Juan Yepes has definitely gotten a lot of steam, but leading into this year, I don't know if Juan Yepes was one of those guys that, you know, a lot of people knew or were super excited about. I think he's somewhat underneath the radar. Connor Thomas, for sure, the lefty out of Georgia Tech that the Cardinals drafted in 2019, who's already pitching really effectively at Memphis, a command first pitcher. I think that's an under the radar prospect that, people ask, who's going to get called up, Gorman or Thompson or Lib. I've been more impressed with Thomas than I have Thompson or Liberatore. He's definitely one. Andre Payante, Jack Ralston, Evan Sisk, relief pitcher, Freddie Pacheco, a relief pitcher, Jacob Schlesinger in spurts, but not always. Moises Castillo, who I think could be a utility type player at the major league level if he keeps on this trajectory. Brady Whalen's been good. Pedro Pajes is good sometimes. Leandro Cedeno has been good recently. And, all the other names, Justin Turner has been really good for Springfield when he's played at Springfield. Nick Dunn hits the ball to the opposite field all the time. Dalton Roach, who has one bad inning in every one of his starts, and it's always his last inning. Really good early in starts. He's been a positive. So those are just some names that come to the top of my head. Ryan Olson says, Michael McCreevy pro comp. I've got nothing for you. I've seen some of these brilliant people say Shane Bieber because they went to the same high school. I hate those people. Those people can die on fire for as far as I'm concerned. I hate that. I hate those type of comps. How about this? Who's a guy who throws a lot of strikes, that has a good slider and a somewhat explosive fastball? I don't think the strikeout numbers are going to be up there maybe the way that some other people do. But, somebody just like that, a really solid middle of the road major league pitcher is about probably what you can expect from him or hope for him. Where are we at? Grandmaster, we're going to see Evan Sisk up in St. Louis soon. No, I don't think so. I think more than likely Sisk finds his way to Memphis. What I want to see the Cardinals do is I want to see them throttle back on Sisk and Edgar Escobar a little bit in particular, because I think those are the two best relief pitchers in the organization, and they're way overworked right now. And especially yesterday, you saw with Edgar Escobar, he had nothing left. And when I say in the organization, I mean on the farm system. I don't mean at the major league level. What do you think the rotation is going to look like in those first 5 to 10 games after the break? I think more than likely Woodford and Oviedo are back up, and they're the ones who are at the back end of the rotation. That's what I think. Jay Drake says, we're always celebrating on pad, my man. That's right, Jay Drake. We will see Walsh or Sisk this season in the majors. Yeah, Jake Walsh is interesting. Somebody told me that the Cardinals were transitioning him back into starting, but he hasn't pitched out of the Springfield bullpen in a month or something like that. And I can't get a straight answer on what's going on. I have to assume he's hurt, and they're just not putting him on the IL because they have enough people. But I wouldn't say either in the majors. I just want to see Jake Walsh back pitching. Iowa Next says, you think Prater gets promoted to Peoria this season? Yeah, I would imagine that as the Cardinals start bringing in pitching in the draft, Prater will be the first guy up to Peoria. Him and Beller for sure. Mark Hayden says, what the fuck are the Cards doing? I'm honestly not opposed to trading Molina, Waino, Goldie, and back. I don't know what that means. Maybe it was Arenado and an autocorrect. I don't really know. But yeah, look, it's really bad for the Cardinals. It was nice to see them win yesterday. It sucks that they're 2 games under the 500 mark as we enter the All-Star break. And I think that first week coming back from the All-Star break is going to be telling, with the Giants and then the Cubs in regards to what the next move is for the St. Louis Cardinals, whether they're going to be a buyer or a seller. I think a lot of fans say, this seller, buy, why would you buy? Or you get the other N word, like buy everyone, sell everyone, buy everyone. They're not there, and that's not really something that John Mozeliak does anyway. So hold on, I got to get a drink and I got to cough. Sorry about that. I think right now it's just bad. And if I was in the front office, I wouldn't know what to do. Honestly, I would just keep calling guys up and trying to get the most out of them. I would also keep Johan Oviedo down at AAA and let him get a chance to become a pitcher instead of a thrower. But that's just me. Arenado March Hayden says, yeah, I don't blame you. I get what you're saying. Ryan Olson, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to. I do wish I'd die in a fire. Like when I hear all these crazy fucking comps on the MLB Network, I want to punch my TV in its head, and it doesn't even have a head. March Hayden says, time to go young, in my opinion. And I get that. Sure, why not? Go young. But the problem is a lot of their quote-unquote young isn't ready for the major leagues. And the young that they have, like Lars Nootbaar, it's kind of like not blocked, but by other young players. I know that Cardinal fans are kind of done with Harrison Bader, and I get it. I think Harrison Bader is a really great fourth outfielder, but I also think that there are times when he shows just how good he's capable of being, and I think he has the ability to sustain that. He just hasn't done it yet. He also gets a boost when he comes off the IL, which is really big a lot of times, as we saw the other night in San Francisco. San Francisco, right? Yeah, San Francisco. So I think that's the issue. Like, I'm not about thinning out the herd a little bit to get a little bit younger, but the problem is none of the young guys are breaking, busting down the door. J. David Reed says Nick Pivetta. Yeah, I like Nick Pivetta a lot. That'd be a nice pickup. So you're telling me we drafted Seth Maness? Yeah, actually VHS, maybe a bigger version of Seth Maness. That's a really good man. VHS, that's a really good way. So East Carolina, ECU Pirates, what up, my pirate people? Who, thanks to Alec Burleson and my gifting of Alec Burleson, I become a member of the ECU Pirate Clan. Something like Seth Maness. When Seth Maness was a minor leaguer, he was really good. We wanted him to be a starter because he threw a lot of strikes. Didn't strike out a ton of guys, but would get a lot of, the guys that he would get on base, he'd get off with the double plays. He'd get those guys off if they got on base. Something like that. Joel Pitt? Well, maybe Kyle Loesch. I know that's such a cheap. I'm trying to stay in the Cardinals purview, but maybe something like Kyle Loesch when he wasn't a near Cy Young candidate, something like that. I'm at a loss. I don't know McGreevy as well as I should. All I know is that when I came across him, I told a bunch of people that I thought the Cardinals would draft him. I thought he was like the perfect Cardinal pick, and boy, was I right. Jay Reed says, if Michael McGreevy becomes Nick Pivetta, we'd be reasonably happy. Yeah, Nick Pivetta, I'm about that. Sure, works for me. 901 Cardinal says, I wanted Swellenbach bad. Spencer Swellenbach from Nebraska, the two-way player. Actually, you know what? I really need to get caught up on who's been drafted because I wouldn't be surprised if he's there at 50. He has arm issues. He doesn't have a taxed arm, but he has arm issues. I think he had a non-surgical procedure or some type of procedure on his elbow. Again, it wasn't Tommy John, but it was some type of procedure on his elbow. That kind of works against him. And then he has a bunch of question marks about what position he's going to play if he were to stay as a position player once he got drafted. The Oakland A's drafted Max Muncy again. How funny. How did we not see that coming? Hold on. I'm trying to get caught up on who's been drafted. Colson Montgomery for the White Sox, Wicks for the Cubs, Gunnar Hoglund for the Jays. Blah blah blah. 20. Hold on, I should have had the stupid draft tracker up. MLB Draft Tracker. But where are we at? So you're telling me, so somebody like that, I guess. McCreevy becomes Pivetta, we'd be reasonably happy. Swellenbach, that's what we were talking about. Sorry, 901 cards, my bad. He wanted Swellenbach. I think that there's a chance that Swellenbach could still be there at 54 because there's questions about where he's going to play at the next level if he were to stay a position player, and also as a starter, if he were to be a pitcher, there's also arm injury concerns. The ESPN Draft podcast was actually pretty good, except for Dan O'Dowd. Dan O'Dowd was terrible. It was a really cool moment there with the Leiter family, I thought. And I'm usually not the sappy type, but I thought even with Harold Reynolds, that was a really cool moment. And also keep in mind that there's going to be all kinds of bias with Little Leiter. So, expect the hype machine to roll on full throttle. Let's see. All right, just to get caught up, since the Cardinals drafted McCreevy at 18, Gunnar Hoglund went 19th, Trey Sweeney went 20th, Jordan Wicks 21st, Colson Montgomery 22nd, Gavin Williams 23rd, Ryan Cusick 24th to the Braves. Go ahead and mark that down. Ryan Cusick will be in the major leagues in 2 years. He's really good. That's a great fit for him, too. March Hayden, what level is Zach Thompson at now, and what's his trajectory? Zach Thompson is at AAA, March Hayden. Follow me on Twitter. I do nothing but tweet GIFs of all of these guys. Don't say follow me. Don't follow me. Just keep an eye on it because I tweet GIFs all the time of these guys. You can pretty much watch along. Remember, AAA was in a very aggressive promotion for Zach Thompson. He went an entire year without being, without playing competitively. Hasn't had a full season at the minor league level yet after being drafted in 2019. And then they put him at the highest level. Now, I've always been an advocate of pushing Zach Thompson. Would have liked for him to start at AA, but pushing him to where his development allowed because of the arm injuries and because of the SEC raising, SEC pedigree. So there's been a lot of struggle at Memphis, and he needs to continue to work ahead of hitters and also land the pitch on the outside corner to righties, specifically his fastball, which he is not doing. It also hurts him that he doesn't get the inside fastball on righties, but neither here nor there. And the trajectory is that I don't think he's on a trajectory to make it to the major leagues this year, but he's still on a trajectory if the Cardinals play in 2022 to be a part of the 2022 squad in some capacity. Iowa Neck says Tommy Jew had a good June and not so good July. Yeah, up and down season. As we remind everybody about Tommy Jew was drafted in 2019, missed most of the 2019 season before he was drafted because of an injury, and then lost all of the 2020 season. And, he got off to a really, really rough start and then kind of rebounded and then is kind of struggling again. So just give him a little time. He'll figure it out. Kyle Osh 2012, awesome from Graham. When is Jordan Swaggerty getting called up? To Jordan Swaggerty, I raise my glass. Jordan Swaggerty was my favorite pitching prospect to come through. I think that he would have been the next Adam Wainwright, but he couldn't stay healthy. McGreevy was ranked better than 18 by CBS and Baseball America and probably many others. Yeah, for sure. Doesn't mean that I didn't like other people better. I did. I liked Hoagland better. I liked Ty Madden better. And I bet if you look, both of those places probably had Madden and Wicks and Hoagland rated higher than him. As a matter of fact, I can pull it up right now. They had Hoagland 2 spots behind McCreevy. They had Wicks ahead, and they had Ty Madden ahead by a couple spots. And remember, the only reason Hoagland was behind McGreevy was because of the injury. And I get that. But sure, yeah, better than 18 only means so much when you're talking about the context of everything else. He's a really interesting kid. He's a good kid. He throws strikes. He's got a good slider. He's got a good fastball. And I think a better changeup than maybe even I'm giving him credit for. You look at that list, and I just like some of the other names better. Marchain, I follow you, but cards make me depressed, and I scroll through faster. I get you. I do the same thing. Warman Sarah says, think Cardinals are going to move Thompson to AA, or do they want him to learn through the struggle? I don't think they're going to move him to AA. What they've started to do what the Dodgers have done, and that's scale back the pitch count on a lot of these guys and kind of have not piggyback starts. That's not right, but like you'll see them. You'll see them like today. Yesterday at Memphis was a rainout. So Zach Thompson started today, and Connor Thomas, who was supposed to start today, piggybacked off of Zach Thompson, who they try to keep below 50 pitches. They're just trying to monitor these guys a little bit. So, Zach Thompson has been good in spurts. He hasn't been as bad as the stats look. You have to watch these games, especially at the minor league level. Yeah, you have to watch the games. He should have started at AA, but I don't think there's a reason to send him to AA right now. This isn't like the major leagues where Johan Oviedo would do well to go down to the minors. It wouldn't do Zach Thompson all that much better to go down to AA, especially when his issues are more about commanding the outside corner, not about how he's using his stuff. And also getting ahead of hitters. He's not going to get ahead of hitters at the next level if he's not throwing strikes. Derek asks, why is Ty Madden sliding? Well, a lot of people were worried about the relief pitcher profile. So Madden entering this year was kind of a tall, lanky kid for Texas. And before that, he just hadn't put on a bunch of weight. Well, this year he put on weight. That slider changeup combo is really good, and he throws a curve. But my guess is that he's falling either A, because he's priced himself out in some capacity, which I don't think happened, or they just view him as a relief pitcher. They're worried about his fastball, which can be kind of straight at times, and they don't think that the slider changeup combo is going to be able to work off of the fastball well enough. I don't. I love Ty Madden. It's going to be awesome seeing the Cubs trade everyone. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. It's a shame that the Cubs have been good for as long as they've been good this year because they probably would have sold off earlier, and it would have been nice to have met them with like half a roster. But at the same time, like it just would have been nice for the Cubs to be good for 2 more weeks and try to buy instead of selling, something that would delay their eventual rebuild. I would have loved that. Like I wish they would have swept the Cardinals. I wish they wouldn't have lost 11-12 or whatever. I wish they would just would have been. I wish they would have swept the Cardinals. I wish they would have gone 11-12 or lost 11-12. And I wish they would have been in a position where Jed Hoyer was like, all right, I guess we're going to buy now. And then did that thing where the Pirates did a couple years ago and bought after they traded Garrett Cole. And then it didn't do them any good because they were already a bad team that had given up. So it's kind of a letdown, but I'm glad they're bad. You know, if the consolation prize is that they're bad, Graham, do you think Reyes could safely make the transition to the rotation, even in short stints, 3 or 4? Yeah, I think he could. I don't think the Cardinals will do it, but I think he could for sure, Graham. Low-key, one of the cards to take Harrison Ford. Honestly, the catching prospect, Harry Ford, was, outside like the top tier of hitters. He was my favorite hitting prospect in the draft. That would have been amazing. If he was available, of course. Yeah, that's who I was pulling for. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this to all the people who were in Prospects After Dark for the draft episode for day 1 of the draft. We raise our glass. We have a lot of booze that I'm not going to hammer. I'm going to savor this after I take a shot. But to the St. Louis Cardinals, to Michael McGreevy, welcome to the Cardinals organization. You have a bright future ahead of you. I'm sorry if I undersold it here. I like you a lot. I just don't want to date you. No, to Michael McCreevy, I raise my glass to the McCreevy family. He's a stand-up kid. He's a smart kid. He checks all those boxes. Sipping on the Dickel again over here. Good for you. Used to fly the L. All right, so that's it for Prospects After Dark on draft night. Again, just to recap, there were some other arms on the board when the Cardinals drafted at 18. But they took Michael McCreevy, who is Baseball America's number 16 prospect, and 28 on the MLB pipeline list, and kind of all over that range between a bunch of different resources and scouting services. Chase Petty goes 26th to the Minnesota Twins. That's a good spot for him. And the Cardinals took right-handed pitcher out of UC Santa Barbara, Michael McCreevy. So that's where we're at. Again, Fly the Elsa slipping on that Dickel. Victoria with the martini glasses. I hope you enjoyed your coffee tonight, probably, Victoria. Marchain says, leave Reyes alone. Don't mess with what ain't broken. He's been our best pitcher this year. Day 2 pick from 901 Cardinals. We have 2 more picks before we get through the first round. Connor Norby, the second baseman on the ECU, is one of my favorite hitters. And beyond that, man, I haven't done enough research. I think it's interesting that so many teams saved on their draft pool and somebody like Bubba Chandler is still available. I think that's telling. I would imagine, Anthony Solometto, he could end up being a pick there, depending on who has saved, money and the direction they're willing to go in. James Wood, I like a lot. Tommy Mace, I like. I know that's one of the pad people's favorite. Matt Mikulski, Andrew Abbott, Christian Franklin, Spencer Swellenbach, whose name I will never pronounce right. There are a lot of guys. Bubba Chandler, Will Taylor, maybe even Jaden Hill, Judd Fabian, who hasn't been selected yet. There are a lot of guys. Jackson Merrill, who San Diego just took. Which means that San Diego is probably going to do some crazy shit, which, is exciting. Look, there's a lot of guys on here that I really like. It's still, we're only going to get through 29 or 35 picks tonight or whatever the hell it is. There are a lot of guys to keep an eye on. March Hayden says, Michelob Ultra was my drink tonight. Cheers. No coffee tonight for Victoria. All right, so that's it for Prospects After Dark on July 11th, 2021. If you watch this, you're a part of the resistance. Again, come back. Maybe we'll do this again tomorrow. We probably won't. But to everybody at Birds on the Black, everybody at Prospects After Dark, I raise my glass to you. Thank you for being here. Go Cardinals. Go Michael McGreevy. And that's it. I love all of you. And remember, freaks, happy hunting.